How are you doing, brothers and sisters? It's been such a long time. Finally have my family summer affairs in order. So let's get back to it. So I'm Michelle, and I'm reading from Jim Stevens' book, 101 Proofs for the Existence of God. So it has great pictures on the outside and diagrams and other great information on the inside as well. So we've been reading all these incredible stories, some that are so moving. I really believe that Jim Stevens, the writer, um, when he was writing this, I believe at times that he was inspired by God. Not only is it a great academic work, but also so much wonderful spiritual information. Okay, so we are going to be reading the proof of the existence of God, number 46, chapter 46 it is, and it's called Ants. Okay. As a result of my studies, I have come to believe that every plant, animal, insect, and fish are proofs for God in and of themselves. There are hundreds of thousands of such proofs everywhere you look for. He who has eyes to see and ears to hear. Pick any one that you like and research it extensively. You can go on and on, being more and more astounded. Each is so marvelous that the only possible conclusion, if you are willing to accept it, is that it was designed by a super intelligent source. Let's talk about ants for a while. Tiny creatures with a brain no bigger than a pinhead. There are over 12,500 cataloged species of ants, with estimates of perhaps 22,000 in existence. My goodness. Evolutionists have their creation story for how all these different ants came into being. The story always starts with knowing the conclusion and figuring out the path of how blind and accidental processes might have arrived at that end, but it's pure fiction. When you analyze each supposed step with logical questions, you'll have to believe in miracles to accept that it could really have happened. There isn't any real proof that can be observed. So, in the end, you have to decide what story you are going to believe in. Did all of these astounding capabilities of ants just come about accidentally? Or is there a God behind it? Either way, you are still just a believer. There is only faith. Here is a quote that shows what I mean. In the considered opinion of biologist Jochen Zeil of the Australian National University, I think that every animal we look at, including the ant, is a more competent, more robust, more flexible, more miniaturized, and a more energy, material, sensor, and computation efficient agent than anything humans have ever built. And this is just about the little ant with brain the size of a pinhead. I would agree with him, but his conclusion is different than mine. He thinks that it all happened by accident, and he chooses to believe in evolution. His faith is that there was no invisible God behind it. Ants are everywhere in the world. Have you ever taken the time to watch them? Probably you studied them in school somewhere and you were very impressed at what they can do. A functioning colony of ants may contain millions and millions of ants, And some colonies may be as big as a house. Oh. Scientists have poured cement into ant colonies and then dug them out to see what they look like. There are amazing passageways and chambers for many purposes. How big in size is an ant brain, do you think? But amazing things are going on inside there. Researchers have concluded they are doing math we're talking about the ants. The ants are doing math as complicated as the programmers who built the internet, so that billions of tiny packets of information run smoothly along channels and through nodes and switches to get to their final destination. Here is a quote about ant math and food supplies and storage. The algorithm relates at least three critical variables: the rate of outgoing foragers, the amount that the rate increases with each returning ant, and the amount that the rate decreases with each outgoing ant. Researchers discovered that this ant algorithm closely matches the one that programmers wrote to regulate internet traffic. Wow. Here is another type of math. Researchers Chris Reed and Associate Professor Madeline Beekman experimented with ants and changeable mazes. They discovered that ants can adapt well enough to create an optimal solution to a maze, something few computer programs can do. This was called the Towers of Hanoi puzzle. The game involves transferring discs of tapering size from one of three stacks to another without placing a larger disc on top of a smaller one. For the ants, though, researchers transposed the different stacking options onto a maze of hexagons where the shortest route to food corresponded to the best solution to the puzzle. Of course, the ants solved it. They even reworked new solutions to overcome blocked tunnels. In addition, the pioneer ants that solved the puzzles somehow explained the correct route to their relatives. Wow. Ant colonies of necessity have incredible systems to function, as they do with effectiveness and efficiency. All the food coming in and being stored and used up needs to be accounted for, measured constantly, and maintained. There are systems for heating and cooling the food, systems for disposal of wastes, systems for hygiene and disposal of dead ants, systems for caring for eggs and the newborn, systems for protection and survival in case of floods or invasions. An ant colony has several entrances leading to a variety of subterranean chambers. Each chamber has a specific purpose, use. Some are for food storage. The queen has her own room. In another chamber, workers tend to unhatched eggs. A deeper room serves as a nursery for larvae and cocoons. In the replete gallery are the worker ants, whose expanded abdomen contains surplus food for the colony. In another room, worker ants are digging a new chamber. Scientists believe ants have a sophisticated guidance system like GPS, and also that they are able to count and remember how many steps they have taken away from the nest so that they can return. They can also communicate through a number of different chemical signals to other ants. Distances traveled are measured using an internal pedometer that keeps count of the steps taken, and also by evaluating the movement of objects in their visual field or their optical flow. Directions are measured using the position of the sun. Oh, wow. They integrate this information to find the shortest route back to their nest. Like all ants, they can also make use of visual landmarks when available, as well as olfactory and tactile cues to navigate. Some species of ant are able to use the Earth's magnetic field for navigation. The compound eyes of ants have specialized cells that detect polarized light from the sun, which is used to determine direction. These, these polarization detectors are sensitive in the ultraviolet region of the light spectrum. My goodness. Stop a minute and meditate on what an ant can do with its teeny tiny brain. I'm flabbergasted that people can believe an ant could have evolved slowly over time. Just think about how complicated the ant mechanism must be to accomplish what it does. Please read about the eye in my previous proof for God, but the ant uses other really complicated systems as well, like smell and touch and muscles, all integrated into their tiny brains. Ants have been observed to be moving in pairs where one seems to be teaching the other one. I think one should conclude that they are passing on information which strongly indicates intelligence rather than accidental origins. Evolution hypothesizes that the process of natural selection is at work. This normally involves a male and a female parent. Ant mating and reproduction can be very different from that. Here is a statement from Wikipedia. A wide range of reproductive strategies have been noted in ant species. Females of many species are known to be capable of reproducing asexually, and one species is known to be all female. Oh my goodness. That seems like some big issues for evolutionists. Maybe there are no male and female in some ants. Sometimes an ant egg becomes one or the other. Also, they go through a metamorphosis stage like caterpillars and butterflies. The life of an ant starts from an egg. If the egg is fertilized, the progeny will be female, diploid. If it's not fertilized, it will be male, haploid. Ants develop by complete metamorphosis with the larva stages, passing through a pupal stage before emerging as an adult. The larva is largely immobile and is fed and cared for by workers. If males are haploid, it means they only have one set of chromosomes, not two, to offer for more chances of mutation to work. Secondly, metamorphosis could never be a process that could have resulted from evolution. And Jim writes, see my proof on metamorphosis, chapter 19, about this. Each colony has several different types of ants within the same species. For example, you have the workers and the drones and the soldiers and the queen, and you have males. Evolution cannot account for how they accidentally came to exist and then could continue to be produced by the observable ways they are. Typically, the food they receive, or chemicals around them determine what type of an ant they become. Scientists don't really know that much about this subject. Some ants in a colony can fly, but others cannot. How can that be explained adequately by accident? Various ant species build amazing things besides nests. Some make bridges, and some can make rafts. Tell me no intelligence was involved in an elaborate construction. It was all by accident. And then let me suppress my laughter. So, Solenopsis invicta, a common species of fire ant, originates from the rainforests of Brazil, where heavy precipitation can cause flooding to occur up to twice daily. In order to stick together as a colony, during these deluges, the fire ants hook their legs and mouths together to create a living, breathing, waterproof material that floats for hours or even weeks if necessary until floods subside. Oh my goodness. In conclusion, there are thousands of different species of ants with incredibly complex systems of organization on a massive scale. It takes a lot of faith in chance and denial of intelligence to believe all this evolved by chance. Remember, there are over 20,000 known species of bees. 20,000 different species. 100,000 species of wasps. And 4,000 species of termites. All of these live in highly developed colonies, just like ants. So there must be God. Couldn't happen by accident. Okay. That was quite incredible. What a great way to start, once more. Okay, thank you so much, Jim, for all your investment and sharing that with us. Okay, so I'll see you another time. Take care, everybody. Bye.